What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and today, day trading in my new Schwab account, I made $1,205.51. I believe that's correct. I can never remember the decimal point, but honestly, I'm getting the hang of Schwab a little bit more, guys, and the more I learn about it, it sounds weird, I know, the more I like it. So I think this Fidelity thing was a blessing in disguise because I learned that you can actually short pretty much any OTC stock on Schwab, and they honestly have really good locates on a lot of stocks that are extremely surprising, like GLSI, which has like a 1 million float. I get shares of that for free. I mean, not for free, I have to pay a little fee, but there's no like locate fee, which is pretty wild. So I'm actually turning into a pretty big fan of Schwab for shorting because it is a zero commission brokerage. And you know, if you guys are trying to learn how to trade, I think Schwab is a really, really good way. You could take advantage of downside moves in this really slow market. Now, I know some of you guys are not over PDT yet, and you're gonna have a difficult time shorting, because you need to have an account that's a margin account, and if you are not over 25K, it doesn't make sense to really have a margin account. So honestly, if I were you guys, not that I'm a financial advisor, but I think it would be cool, you know, even if you're under PDT, maybe you got a $15,000 account, throw like, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 into a Schwab account just so you can practice shorting a little bit, because if you got a margin account there, you can still make 3 shorts per 5 business days, and that's definitely better than nothing. And you'll start to get the hang of some of these things because there are some really, really good shorting opportunities out there. And I did the same first red day pattern that I did, I think that I talked about in my previous video, and that's where I made a lot of my money today. There were also some other really good patterns that I want to talk about, really good strategies in general, how you can make money in this slower market when it feels like every single breakout is failing and not much is moving too much. Now, we did have one news play that I called out in the Discord about 2 seconds after it happened. HQGE spiked up like 50-60% in a couple minutes, so had a couple people bank on that. But unless you get a really good news play out of nowhere, it's really tough to find a stock that is moving really hard, because there's just nothing that has a ton of momentum. Again, back in February, we had like multiple 100% gainers, sometimes 500% gainers, 1,000% gainers a day. And right now, I look at the highest gainers on the day, and it's like the best one is like 50-60%, and then it fades off the rest of the day. So definitely a slow market, guys, so you need to learn how to adapt. That's why I make these videos, so you guys can make money with me no matter what the market is doing overall, because if we get a huge correction, we're gonna be making money. If the market spikes, we're gonna be making money. So there's opportunities no matter what you're doing, as long as you are able to adapt. That's kind of the point of this video, so hopefully you find it helpful. If you do, please smash the thumbs up or tickle it, or yeah, I don't know, whatever you want to do. I'm not gonna get into the details. Let's dive on my computer. Subscribe if you haven't already. You know the drill. All right, guys, so here is the chart for INVU, and this is the first stock that I was shorting today. And you can see this is the daily chart. Each one of these candlesticks is a day, and it's pretty much straight up from 10 cents all the way up to about 74 cents is where it opened the day. And that is a pretty good sign that the chart is overextended. You can see it did technically have a red candle here, but it wasn't like it was red a lot. It's opened here, spiked up, rejected, and then failed, and then closed here, but then continued on past that. So not really a real red candle. So I mean, pretty much we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green candles in a row, and this was the first, you know, real red day where it was getting overextended. And so I went short on this stock, you know, right at the red-green area, and ended up covering down here. And I should have reshorted more aggressively. I reshorted here and then ended up covering right here instead of letting it fade off all day. I figured it probably would, but I just didn't have the patience for it. But again, this is one of those super high odds setups where you are putting statistics in your favor. It's like going to the casino where you're the house and you're gonna win the majority of the time. So I really like plays like this, and this is just an example of, you know, where you can be a short seller where you couldn't be a long trader, where you couldn't buy the stock. And the same reason, guys. I mean, if you see this chart and it goes from 11 all the way up to 80, would you feel comfortable buying the stock right here? If the answer is yes, you need to really rethink your I don't know, your risk management strategy, because this thing is far more likely to come down if you're buying here at 75 than to keep going up. Your risk reward is much better if you take a short position, and it's the same exact thing, on any stock, guys. Where you do not want to be long is where you do want to be short. So, I mean, I was just shorting all day long. And another good example of this is HMBL. And this stock today, I didn't catch it until right around here. But you can actually see, if I go back a little bit more for you, can I do 10 days, 30 minutes? I'm not sure if I can. It literally, maybe I can do 5 days, 15 minutes, change the time frame, there we go, so that it's 15 days. It's literally had a dip at open every single day for the last like 10 days. It's been pretty wild, guys. It's been pretty wild. Let me get, can I get 10 days? Let me see if I can get 10 days. All right, dip it open here, dip it open here, dip it open here. I don't know why it's not letting me scroll. Dip it open there, dip it open here, dip it open here, and to dip it open, and to dip it open, and to dip it open. So the last day it did not dip it open was on March 24th, it looks like. It looks like it's the last day that HMBL did not dip it open. So you can be pretty confident that you don't want to be buying this right here unless it starts upticking. It's very likely to go down. And because of that, I'm probably going to look to short this at open tomorrow if it looks like it's going to tank. And then I'll look to cover into the first bounce, because that's typically where I would be looking to dip buy it, because there was a really, really good dip buying opportunity this morning as well. If you dip buy down here, you get filled 325, 326. It bounces, 15 cents a share. And you can easily get out here. That's a really nice bounce. And it just does this over and over and over. So I just really want to see you guys taking advantage of this, because it is such a predictable move. And, it's a good way of making money when the market is like this. Now, another thing that I did to make money on this stock that you want to look for in general is I was watching the level 2 very carefully. And I saw it here, and we saw some massive sellers. I'm talking like 250,000 share sellers of a $3 stock. That's like almost $1 million position, $1 million sell order. They came on the ask again. So that's a wall of $1 million. Call it, I don't know, $800,000. Can you imagine an $800,000 wall right here? Is it going to go up through that? Probably not, unless a ton of people come in and buy it. So I shorted the stock like right here and was able to make some good money right here. And again, for those of you guys who are super, super hyped about Humble, you love this stock, before you comment saying, oh, you shorted Humble, you don't believe in this stock. Listen, guys, the net impact when you buy and then sell a stock is the same as when you sell a stock and buy it. So if I'm day trading the stock, I have no overall impact on the price of the stock. I just want to be very clear about that. My Schwab, unfortunately, just crashed. It decided to crash. So I will probably... All right, I'll just pull it up on here. Is what it is. Ooh, wow. ALPP, I totally missed that sell-off towards the end of the day. Totally missed that. That is a nice sell-off on ALPP. That's kind of random. Just want to throw that out there. But yeah, guys, I mean, I did the same thing on HMBL, again, where you have a huge wall of sellers, so you can be very confident shorting. It's the same thing. If you see a huge wall of buyers, you want to buy the stock right there because it's very likely to go up. And worst case scenario, if you see that wall get taken out, dang, there's a lot of sellers. If it took out that wall, I probably shouldn't be buying here. So it's the same thing. It's just in this market right now, in the middle of April, it feels really slow, and it feels like there's more selling power overall than buying power, so it's easier to be a short. And that's why I've chosen to adapt, that and the fact that I can't really go long. But you can see there's a lot of stocks where this is a thing. So let me type in ious for you guys. Now, again, I really believe long-term in this stock. I think this thing is probably going dollars at some point. But I have seen so many huge sellers on this stock that it's very difficult for me to trust it. And what I can trust is the fact that these huge sellers are going to hold it down. So you can see here, it was failing. You can't really see why. But if I showed you the level 2, you'd be able to see that right here, there was like a 500,000 share seller at 12 cents. And then when it came back up here, it was like a 7, 8, 900,000 share seller right here at 12 cents. 12 cents on the dot. That's psychological, whole number. And so I took a short position. I shorted it right here, 11.99, 11.95, risking the break of that level. Saying to myself, listen, I really would love to buy this stock long term, but there are a ton of market makers holding this thing down. There's a huge wall of sellers, and if I buy, it's the same concept, guys. So if there's a huge wall right here and I sell right here, worst case scenario, if it goes above, I just buy it and I cover my short position. But it's very likely to reject because there's such a huge wall. So I did that multiple times. I think I shorted here, I think I shorted here, and I shorted here, and then I shorted here, I covered, but then I re-shorted up here and made some more. So pretty much every time it spiked up, there were just huge sellers. And it's very easy to take advantage of that. So that's something that you want to look for. Really take advantage of that level 2, especially on OTC stocks. Especially on OTC stocks. And I'm so grateful I'm able to trade OTCs now on Schwab. And again, guys, if you understand why it makes sense that I have unlimited shorting power for OTCs, but I can only buy with settled cash, that makes literally no sense to me whatsoever. Makes no sense at all. So I don't understand that, but it is what it is. And, I have the ability to short infinitely. Now, something else, actually, I want to talk about, I was doing on Humble as well. So you can see if I zoom in here, 320, there was an insane wall at 320, massive $500,000, $1 million wall right at 320. And so what I did was I was shorting at 320, and sometimes I was getting filled. Sometimes it took me a while. But then what I would do is I would just buy it back, market, and I would get filled, halfway between. I would get filled at 319.5, or I would put it on the bid if I wanted to be patient, see if I can get filled at 319. And I do that over and over. With 1,000 shares, that's either $5 or $10 every time. And you can see, it was in this range for a long time. For a long time, guys. So you can flip the spread whether you're going short or whether you're going long. And I think that's a thing that a lot of people are confused about because they think short selling is super scary. But when you're day trading, there's literally no difference except for the order in which you do it. There's literally no difference as long as you cut your losses quickly. So obviously, when you're short selling, you have infinite loss potential, and the most you can make is 100%. When you're buying, you have infinite gain potential, and the most you can lose is 100%. But the concepts of when you want to be buying versus selling are the same thing. They're the same things. You guys, I don't want you to overcomplicate it because shorting is a very valuable strategy when the overall market is like sliding like this. So I think it's something that you really want to learn. Forwardly was also down a good amount. FIXX, this is an example of a chart that had an offering. If you guys don't know what an offering is, it's where they sell shares to raise money for the company, and they sold $50 million worth of shares. So can you imagine trying to buy the stock and hoping it would go up if someone's selling $50 million worth? So this is what the chart looked like today. And I ended up not seeing it until it was like right here. But this thing literally just kept fading off all day long. And I made some okay money shorting it with pretty small size. And these are the types of charts, guys. This is like, it just feels like the market today. This just feels like the market today. Gap down and then just fading all day long. No type of a real bounce whatsoever. It tried to make it over VWAP for half a second there and then just rejected and just faded all day long. You have not a ton of upside if you're buying this. There's not a ton of ways you can make money on the long side on this. Yes, technically, if you see a huge dump like this, a huge red candle, and you get in right after that, there's a chance that it can bounce after and you can get a little pop. But overall, it's just so much easier to make money if you're trading in the direction of the trend, which is why being short in a market like this is typically a good idea. So again, if you guys don't understand shorting, if you think it's an aggressive short seller, if you think I'm an evil person because I'm taking people's money, again, I have a net zero impact on the stock. And when you day trade, you buy and then you sell, or you sell and then you buy. That's pretty much the point. That's how it works. And I'm trying to think of any other stocks, guys. There's really not a ton of stuff that is super interesting. It feels like all the stocks that run in pre-market that I tell you guys about, it feels like they all just die. It feels like any stock that is going up an insane amount, the next day it just fades down because shorts are all over it. So what was that one from yesterday? Top percent losers. RMO. Yeah, so RMO, if I go here, RMO. Again, this stock was so strong yesterday, guys, and it held up pretty well here. And it tried to spike up, but then it just faded all day long. It just faded all day long. And this is such a typical chart. we haven't really seen many multi-day runners. It feels like there's no breakouts. If you buy the breakout, you just get stuffed. You're buying at the high of day if you're buying the breakout. Back in February, you could buy the breakout and it would just keep going and keep going and keep going. So that's why, again, it's better to be a short seller in this market. And if you are a long bias trader, if you guys don't have a margin account and you can't short, you gotta, really, really be careful with your entries and be disciplined not to chase stocks too much. Or if you chase with really small size. AABB had some opportunities today. This one actually moved up 17%. So there was some opportunity on the long side here. If you wait for these dips and get in, I'd say, they're not a ton of upside, honestly. Not a ton of upside, but I guess you got 4 cents a share, 5 cents a share. I guess it's okay. In this market, that feels like a lot, which is what's crazy, because it's really not that great. SOS, this was being pumped by Wall Street bets, but hold on, let me go. Yeah, SOS. But this has a big float and a history of dilution, which makes it extremely hard for it to run. So, it couldn't even make it over pre-market highs. Every time it tried, it just failed. It just got stuffed. Look at that. Look at that double top right there. That's an easy short, guys. This thing comes right back in here, starts rejecting. You short here, risking on the break of this high, and it never breaks it. Man, oh man. I guess the moral of the story is, guys, just be able to adapt. That's what I want for you, mainly. I just want you guys to be able to adapt. And sometimes there's more opportunities on the short side. Now, again, I know some of you guys are not going to be able to change your account. So you're thinking, David, what can I do? What can I do to make money? You can still flip stuff, HMBL, you could have done the exact same thing that I was doing, except you could have, right here at 320, you could have been buying at 319 or buying market and then selling at 320, Same thing. I was selling at 320 and then buying back at 319.5 or buying back at 319. So you can literally do what I do, long or short. So that's kind of what I would say you guys should be doing. Are there any other? I'm not even seeing any Nasdaqs that are going crazy, man. That's what's wild about this. I don't really see anything that's moving too much. I guess I'll pull up HQGE. Again, this is a stock that had the press release midday. I called it out right there. Ton of volume came in. It was an NFT press release, so this thing spiked up a ton, more than I expected, honestly. I couldn't buy it because it's an OTC, and I can't really buy OTCs because I have no buying power, but it spiked up beautifully. And, man, this is one of those breaking news plays that if it's a slow day and you get one of these, it can be all your profits for the day in that one candle. So pretty cool to see that. Just put these on your watch list, guys. Make sure you don't miss it when the news comes out. Nothing else is really going on that I want to talk to you guys about. I guess AITX a little bit. This thing just got demolished, bro. This thing just got demolished. If I look at this overall chart, my goodness. My goodness, bro. This thing it's just bleeding out. This thing is just bleeding out. I feel sorry for anyone swinging this from 28 cents, man. 29 cents. That's crazy. This thing is coming all the way back down. I don't even know if it's going to break this 1 cent. Man, it's getting crazy. I don't know at what point this turns into a good swing because it dips so much. I really don't. I feel like the RSI, it's got to be oversold, but it's crazy, guys. This is the market we're in. Everything is bleeding off, so you got to be really careful. You got to be really careful on your long side, and if you can make the switch to be short biased, I would say go give it a try. OZSC, same thing, guys. All of our favorite tickers. This thing was it's just going down. Everything's just going down. Everything's just bleeding. It hurts. So that's it. That's pretty much it, guys. Stay safe out there if you're a long bias trader. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Else, I guess I should call that out before I leave. Else is spiking up in after hours, ELSE. But honestly, given the market climate, I would not be surprised to see this thing fail and never break pre-market highs and just fade off all day. So, if I can get shares of this, it's a 2.2 mil float. Schwab honestly might have shares, given that it had shares of GLSI. Definitely room on this for profit, but just tough, man. Just tough. This one was choppy. I had no idea how to do it. I guess it rejected perfectly off of VWAP. That would have been the play. Interesting. Rejected perfectly off of VWAP. That's crazy. You guys got to use VWAP. This is why I use VWAP. Look at that. Perfectly rejected off of VWAP. Wild. All right, that is it. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. I don't have anything cool for you guys at the end. I wish I did. I'm racking my brains, but I don't today. Sorry. I apologize. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, ow, I just bit my tongue. Let's grow better together. Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.